All right, welcome to the first Friday Reads, right, Putao? So this is this thing I've always seen around BookTube where people talk about what they're currently reading and what they plan to read over the weekend. And I'm using these, oh my gosh, you are incorrigible, to replace my weekly updates that I used to do in vlog style. So let's talk about all the things I'm reading because I'm reading too many things and they will all be things that I hope to work on this weekend. So let's start with my audiobook, which has been Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. Is that where all the R's are? This is my boyfriend Ryan's favorite book, and he chose it for me to read after I lost a book title battle game. I'll have that in the cards. And I've been choosing to read this through audiobook, and it's actually been really great. I think the voice acting's really well done, and also it reminds me of the times when I was a kid and my mom like read out loud to me Little House on the Prairie, because it's very much that Western setting. So that's been working really well for me. And it's really interesting. It's definitely not my normal type of historical fiction fantasy. I'm not a big Western girl, but the cast of characters is vibrant and there's a lot happening. I am only that far. And it's funny because we switched to part 2 because I guess there's multiple parts, and I thought I had met all the characters I was going to meet. It'd been 200 pages. No. There are more people for me to meet. There's this big journey happening. And yeah, so I'm just slowly picking away at this. I maybe listen to it 40 minutes to an hour a day. And it's a long one. But that's been my audiobook. And the first book, like I said in my TBR, that I read and picked up this month is the first book in Malazan, Gardens of the Moon. I am that far, and so before the tabs, and I've been tabbing up all the chapters to help motivate myself. This has been working out really well. I'm gonna put it down because it's kind of shiny and put an image. So Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson is the first book in Malazan, and I had no expectations going in, and it's been working out pretty well. It's very dense, very confusing. I think so far, so there's like multiple books in it. I liked book 1 more than book 2, which I'm in the middle of book 2. There is really cool magic. It's a very confusing world building style, which is kind of my thing. It's very similar to the world building style that I found in Nine Fox Gambit, and I really like all the cool, crazy magic stuff going on. I'm the most excited while reading this when there's really cool magic stuff and we're learning about the different races in the world. The political side, I'm like less interested in, and sometimes he uses the perfect amount of description for me, and sometimes he goes a little over the top. But overall, I'm finding that Erikson is doing a good job at translating to my brain the atmosphere he wants to have there, and I'm really liking a lot of the characters. I still don't have a sense of who, or if there is a core group of characters. I have no clue. But I think I didn't know in the TBR how fast this book would take me to read, and it's definitely one of those books that I will enjoy best if I just read as much as I can in the day, which might only be 30 or 50 pages at most, and just keep chipping away at it because it's dense. There's a lot going on. I remember Cassara from Cassara Reads talking about one of the Malazan books about how she kind of liked just reading a chapter a week, and I can see that, especially with these chunkier chapters. So that's been really fun. I've been really enjoying that. Oh my goodness, guys, do you see this little like koala thing? I might have to put him down. He's kind of a lot. And so I'm still also reading 3 other things because I overbooked myself. The one I'm reading for my book club that I had to pick up because book club is on Monday, so I better finish it this weekend, and that is The Innocents. This is interesting. So this is taking place in Newfoundland, Canada, so way up north, really cold, bad weather, and there are these kids whose parents die when they're really young, and they don't live in a village or anything. They just lived by themselves out on a cove, and they're left to survive and take care of themselves. And I kind of like children's survival stories. I don't know why. I think it's like in 6th or 7th grade, I read a bunch of those like kind of historical fiction middle grade stories with people like surviving in the forest. I always like the Boxcar Kids, if anyone knows what that is. So I've been finding it, like, although I think most people would call it slow paced, pretty fast paced for me. I read it really quickly. And so that's been working out really well for me. It is very atmospheric and cold. Like the setting is very vibrant. And I don't know what year we're in. It's definitely historical fiction. And I'm just shocked that there are people who have interacted with these children and they don't take them in. They just leave them there. And they're super harsh winters. There is this like muddy part where like, so these 2 kids only know each other. They're brother and sister, and they're coming of age, you know, going from preteen to teen. So like there's a sexual awakening happening and they only have one other option, and I'm pretty sure I can see where things are going, and I can't decide how comfortable I am with that, all things considered. But it's really beautifully written, and I'm very engaged with the story. So it's another win for book club, another thing I would have never picked up unless someone suggested it. I've also been buddy reading Love After the End, this short story anthology by Indigenous queer voices primarily. And it's been really fun. We've read about half of them together so far. Some have been more hits than others, and it's interesting because an issue maybe one of us would have, the other interpreted a different way. So it's been fun going back and forth. Most of these stories seem to have an apocalyptic, utopian tone. Well, at least the introduction claims utopian, like trying to switch that narrative, but it feels pretty apocalyptic. Almost all these stories take place in a far-off future area, climate collapse, maybe we're already on another planet or satellite, etc. And like, what's it like to be Indigenous and queer at that moment in the stories thing. So it's been really interesting. I don't know if I really have a standout favorite. I feel like most of them have just been like 3 to 4 stars for me so far, some more engaging than others. So yeah, it's just been really fun buddy reading it with Nikita. We read a story a day, we chat about it on Twitter, and it's been a really great experience. And we're both really curious about looking into some of the specific tribes that have been mentioned here, because both of us don't know a lot about the histories behind a lot of these tribes. And so that would be really interesting. And one of the challenges for both of us is a lot of Indigenous language is being used, as it should be in these stories, but they're not easy to look up. Like even Googling them, and there's not a glossary. So sometimes the context clues are great, and sometimes I just have to accept that I won't know that, but these stories are also not like for me. So I don't mind it. And it hasn't hindered my experience with reading it. It's just been a slight challenge at times. And so as this cat continues to exfoliate my hand, the last one I'll talk about is when my brain's been like dead, rereading slowly A Court of Winds and Ruins. ACOWAR image here. I can never remember the order of words in Sarah J. Maas books. It's impossible for me with those titles. But this one is the 3rd one in that series, and Nesta's book comes out soon. I think A Court of Silver Flames. I don't know. But this one, I decided to reread it when I was partway through ACOMAF, because I was just like, this plot's silly fun. I need to reread it, so that's what I'm doing. I think if I'm talking critically, I don't love Feyre. Feyre is not my favorite. I think, I don't know. She's gone through a lot, but she's like a little bit, I don't know. We're in her thoughts, and her thoughts are just very like, okay, girl, go you, I guess. All right. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just, there are just some sentences that she says in her head, and I'm like, well, all right, that's not how I would put it, but that's fine, it's your brain. But I still love Rysand, and I love the whole team and the chemistry, and just like, I don't know, it's like easy to read when I just need an easy read. Are you going to attack my nose now? Is that what we're doing? He's hidden his face. Look at your people. Look at them. So that's what I've been reading, a lot of things that I'm in the middle of. Hopefully by the next time I check in, my goal, I need to finish The Innocents. I'll probably have finished Love After the End, because both of those, I'm on track to finish those within the next few days. And, you know, I don't know if anything else will be finished, and that's okay, but I would like to start and hopefully check in with you guys. A brief little update on my thoughts of partway through The Mask of Mirrors, which is my arc for the month. I want to start that, probably not this weekend, but after the weekend. So that's my reading update for the week. I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing Putao. I also played a really fun board game last weekend. I figure I'll just throw that in here real quick. It's called Dune Imperium. You're right, it's based off Dune. Now there's 2 board games for Dune. 3 if you're thinking of old editions, but recently published 2 board games for Dune. One takes 6 hours. It's like this huge tabletop political game. Really reenacts the story of Dune. This one that I'm played is just a card game with a board. It takes 2 hours. It's really fun. I played it with my boyfriend and our roommate. My roommate's never played a game that has what I call deck building and worker placement. Not just me, the whole community, but if you've never heard those words, those are the like mechanisms. And my one roommate's never played with deck building, and he picked it up really easy. He's also never read Dune. Ryan and I read Dune, and there are cards that are associated with different parts of that world, and I think there was one card, Ride the Worm, that he really wanted and Mike stole from him. So that was really fun. It felt pretty thematic. It has this whole like kind of random luck deck. It's called the Intrigue deck. And if you've read Dune, you know the politics of Dune are swingy. So I liked having that swingy deck of cards. Oh my goodness. Goodness. So that's the game I played, and a movie I watched that I think liked a lot. I'm still confused about it, but Tenet by Christopher Nolan. It's a film. I would watch it with subtitles. The reason being the sound balancing is absolute nonsense. We watched it with subtitles, and I think it makes more sense probably if you watch it with subtitles. But it's an interesting thought experiment action movie thing, and I love action movies, and I thought it was a solid thought experiment by the rules they gave it. I mean, you can poke holes in it all day, but I had a fun time, especially since I felt like the narrative was kind of self-aware. Like there was this point where I was literally talking to my roommates about how I kind of get why we're following, like, do I just have to accept that he's the chosen one? Like, why he's saving the world? Are we gonna have it explained? And I don't know if it actually ever does explain it, but there's literally a time where someone's talking about that whole trope to me. So, like, that's what I mean by it's, like, a little self-aware, and I kind of appreciated that. But that's, like, I guess my reading and a little bit of media update. I don't normally have things in sci-fi that cross over into my movie and board game space for this, so that's it for this one, and I hope you liked it. What do you plan to read this weekend if you have reading plans or board game plans or movie plans? Any of those fun stay-at-home plans, since at least that's all I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future. And if you made it this far, put a horse in the description below for Lonesome Dove. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.